What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another YouTube video. I'm getting blinded by the sun. Deb's over there throwing me looks. You can't see her because she's like, what does he have? We're going to do a movie review video today. Not really, but it's funny to see that Goodwill used to charge 49 cents for items. We know those days are long gone. But on the topic of today's video, you will see a continuous flow of sales throughout the whole 25 years I've been selling on Amazon, somewhere on the side. But more importantly, I kind of wanted to talk about, because I've been seeing a lot of people saying it's not really worth it to get into selling media on Amazon anymore. So I'm going to give kind of my honest opinion and hot takes on, should you start selling media on Amazon in 2025, right? That is the year. I don't know, this year's been a blur. But yeah, if you're interested in making money selling on Amazon, before I tell you whether or not you should sell on Amazon, make it make sense. I don't know. This is the script the producers give me. Join the YouTube channel, $2.99 a month, weekly live calls, go-to list or discount, so the group literally pays for itself. So I guess the first thing I have to address is how hard of work it is to start an Amazon business. I will say this, when I started, I don't even know when, 2018, 2019, it was a lot easier, right? No BSing about that. Anybody that's been selling on Amazon will tell you it was a lot easier back then than it is now to start. So what makes it easier, you're probably thinking? Well, first off, restrictions. You start selling today. Nobody tells you this. No, I don't know why everybody leaves this out of the conversation when I tell you to start selling on Amazon. You start selling books. You go, you buy some books, right? You're like, oh yeah, look, I got three books here. They're profitable, right? I went out, I got my scanning app. You get home, you go to list them with Go-To Lister, and you're restricted. So in the beginning of your Amazon journey, you are going to be restricted in about 95% of the catalog, right? So you have to realize, when you start, you're gonna go scan, you're gonna find profitable items, you're gonna be restricted. Now, the flip side to this coin, and there's going to be a flip side to everything I talk about today, is that Amazon just wants to see you do a little work. Think about it. If you hired somebody, you wouldn't just give them the keys to everywhere without actually seeing them, do the job that they're expected to do. So Amazon says, all right, you can only sell Patterson. You can't sell Tom Clancy yet. So you send in a box of all your James Patterson and the 5% that you can sell. And what happens? Don't you know? In 3 weeks, 4 weeks, you make a sale, you go to send, you scan Tom Clancy again, and all of a sudden, you can start selling Tom Clancy. They just want you to prove the concept. Now, back when I started, it kind of was the Wild West. There were restrictions, right? Like DVDs and CDs were really hard gated. It cost a lot of money to get ungated in those. But I think resellers have become so complacent and want everything kind of just handed to them that they start this just thinking, I can sell any book under the sun, and I'm going to be rich overnight. Amazon is a long game, and the restrictions for new sellers, I understand the frustration, but if you had a platform, you would want the sellers to kind of, I guess, not show your worth, but I guess show your worth so that they actually say, hey, all right, this person's actively sending us items trying to sell on the platform, so let's allow them to sell more items. So that's the first one that really doesn't get talked about. I think people make it out to be way bigger than it is, right? I just said you send a box in of what you can, you sell an item or two, and 3 weeks you can start selling more, and you start selling more. Then all of a sudden the floodgates are open. Besides the major brands, right? You're always going to have the big major brands. In the book realm, it's the textbooks. I personally don't sell textbooks, and I don't recommend any bookseller selling textbooks unless you're sourcing directly from Amazon, so you can shove their own invoice in their face. And that's another thing, right? Textbooks, they're worth the most money, right? You find a textbook, you're like, oh, it's $100 profit. Well, there's inherited risk that really nobody talks about when it comes to having your account shut down over one fake textbook.
Mike, I know it's not fake. I literally bought it straight from the publisher.
Amazon and the textbook publishers do not care. Counterfeit without a test buy. They don't buy your item. They don't look at it. They just make you prove that you got it from a legitimate source, invoices, chain of custody, the whole 9 yards. So don't sell textbooks. I haven't really got to whether or not I still think it's worth. I mean, just that little thing right there shouldn't be enough to deter somebody, right? The huge benefit to why I think everybody, I love turning eBay sellers into Amazon sellers, especially in media, because media does not sell on eBay.
Dude, I got 50,000 items listed on eBay. I'm making bank, bro.
Get out of here with the nonsense. Amazon allows you freedom. Freedom, freedom, freedom. We are not packing, shipping orders. We never answer a customer question. Can you imagine a reselling world where you don't have to answer a question ever? That is Amazon FBA. Imagine you don't need to have, shout out to John Moscarella, Side Hustle Experiment. He closed down his book business operation, I think 4 years ago, and said, yo, Mike, come get this stuff. I don't need none of it. It just sits here, right? Because we don't pack, we don't ship none of these items. That alone, the freedom of selling on Amazon versus any other reselling platform, it's not even close.
Oh, dude, when are you going to talk about the fees? They're taking all the money.
Okay, let's get into the fees, right? 50-50 split. On a bad month, 40-60 split. You take 40, they take 60. Okay. You're still making money. We're not, all we're doing is putting little labels on the back of the DVD, right? You just cover up the label with a little label. The book. Cover up the label with a little label. We don't waste time conditioning. We're not wasting no time. All we're doing is, it's a DVD, pop it open, make sure it's in there, make sure the bottom's not beat up, cut it loose. Nothing else to it. Everything's good condition unless it's brand new sealed. Then we sell that DVD or CD as new. The fees are the biggest crybaby broke mindset, reseller mindset, broke person, reseller who makes no money, broke mindset. I can't say it enough. If fees scare you away from making a lot of money, you're a fool. I mean, good luck, right? I straight up with everybody. If I move my current Amazon inventory to eBay, I'm living under the underpass. That's just reality, right? eBay for media, the stuff I sell, it's dead. But on Amazon, where people just hit buy now,
Dude, people don't just hit buy now.
okay, let's look at the data, right? Over 90% of sales come through the buy box, which is the buy now button. I know it frustrates you that people are stupid and they just hit buy now, but listen, we can't control that. We can control taking advantage of said, I guess, programming human nature to hit buy now. So the fees are irrelevant. I'm making 40% on a bad month. You're making nothing because your shit is not selling anywhere else, especially in media land. So we kind of knocked out the fees. I got all the broke people in the comments out of the way because fees don't matter if you're making money. We can account for everything. Another thing we got is kind of the, I guess, information you need to do this, right? We have people all walks of life in the group. Old, young, short like me, tall like Deb, even though you can't see her. She's like 7'6". Fat like me, skinny like me, wide like me. It doesn't matter. People from all walks of life do this business. We got plenty of retired folk, right? The books are heavy. Okay, we don't got to do a full Lowe's box. Do a smaller box, 20-pound box. Get it out the door. You're still going to make money. We can account for everything, right? And that's the thing with Amazon. We can account for all of the fees up front. When we're scanning, we can see, okay, it's going to cost us 50 cents to send it per item. It's going to cost us 20 cents for the label. Even if you wanted to include all your overhead fees, you could even put that into your scouting software. So when you scan an item, it even takes that into consideration. This is the most foolproof, stupid, silly business that I'll ever probably be a part of in my entrepreneurial life. And I just want to kind of knock some of the myths out there because I do think even today, right? The fees, they take 60% on a bad month. What else did I complain about? The restrictions, right? It is still the greatest opportunity. You're not going to go work a job, and you're not going to find many other side hustles where you can just put an ad for free pickup and get a carload of books, or go buy DVDs for 10 cents a piece. And yeah, most of these are junk, but I already took the IKEA bag full of home of profitable ones. I paid $60 for 4 boxes. all you do is rinse and repeat. And I think that's why I've seen like a downtick in people getting into it, is because it's not exciting. But think about it. Things that make a lot of money a lot of times are not the most exciting things, right? We're just scanning stuff. We're just labeling stuff every week. But when it's so stupid easy that I still wonder why everybody doesn't do it. There's the $40 a month Amazon fee. I mean, come on, guys. Like, we need to be able to have some type of capital to start a business and grow it if we're going to treat it right. But you could even argue you could start this for close to next to nothing when it comes to free book pickups, and then expanding in other categories once you get sales. So do I think it's a good time? 100%. You guys have seen probably hundreds of sales that I've had here. It's not the most exciting stuff when you sell, you know, your Halloween DVD for, you know, $5, but I don't sell nothing for $5. My lowest is $6.49.
At $6.49, you're probably paying Amazon $3,000.
On a DVD or CD at $6.49, you still clear $1 and some change. So you could argue, don't do this, but I will make the argument here. If you wanted to actually sell DVDs and CDs at $6.49 and you were getting them for 10 cents, you know, 10x your money right then and there. That's my floor. But just goes to show, a lot of things people hear, a lot of things people say about the business is all BS. And if you don't believe it, just go look at some of the channels where I talk about the numbers. I put everything out there so that you kind of can weed through some of the BS. I'm not sitting here saying it's easy, right? I'm not, by no means necessary. Is it easy to, you know, go keep and maintain an inventory of 5,000 units? Because when you're selling 1,000 a month, you got to be replenishing 1,000 units a month to kind of keep growing the business. But I do think this stuff is everywhere, right? It's not like somebody lives somewhere and there's no books, no CDs, no DVDs. And even then you could find a supplier to get them to you. So that's another benefit, right? Is we live in a world where people don't value this stuff at all. But we don't need the majority of people to value it. We just need to be able to sell it to somebody at a higher price than what we paid. So yeah, you can have an endless supply of free books, endless supply of crappy DVDs, right? I've seen 1 million copies in pickups of Journey to Center of the Earth and Snakes on a Plane, right? But this stuff doesn't matter. We're only in there to get the good stuff and get out kind of unscathed and not mess around, right? Like, this is all going free on Facebook Marketplace, right? Like, I make that determination when I make the buy. Whatever's left over is going away for free because I enjoy time. Most resellers don't enjoy free time. I do. I like watching unsolved mysteries and petting my cats and annoying Deb. It's kind of the 3 things I like to do in life. So this business has allowed me to make more money than I ever have. And it has allowed me to be, I guess, as free as I ever have been, right? Going from working a job. And if you're the person that's like thinking about starting it and you're like, I want to get rid of the 9 to 5. And even if you're brand new, there is a 3-month runway. You will not make no money on Amazon. You will make sales, you will have a balance, but Amazon will hold your money in account reserve. That is just them holding your money to make sure that items don't get returned, and if they do, you have the balance to clear it. Yet again, another thing that's not talked about. 3 months until you start making some type of decent income from this. Even if you go spend $1,000 your first month, and you sell everything, they're still gonna hold your money for another month, for another 8 weeks. So just have that in your mind as well. It is a little bit harder, but if you're the person that isn't scared of hard work, right? Hard work, scanning items, labeling items, then 100%, like there's no better time than today. And yeah, it's harder than it used to be, in quotation marks, but I still think like what I do is so stupid. Like, me and Deb literally yesterday were like, let's go do something. All right, let's go to 2 thrift stores. Like, me and her went in 2 thrift stores. We're in each for like 30 minutes and we left. We basically got 2 bags of stuff, right? It's like, this stuff is everywhere if you're just willing to get out there. And you know, you don't got to be all serious. You guys all know, like, I'm not the most serious person on the universe. It's like, you can have fun with it. You don't got to be doing it all the time. We got part-timers that do it 4 hours a week. We got people that do it 60 hours a week. Whatever works for you, that's kind of how it works. So that's going to do it for the video. I know I impressed you all with my karate kick last time. I don't have anything. Deb's rolling her eyes. What do you want? What kind of karate move you want me to do? Nothing? She says I don't have many moves. All right. That's going to do it for the video. I'm going to hit y'all with a roundhouse kick. And I'll see you guys all in the next used book, CD, DVD, you better get your ass selling it video. Bye-bye.